Hi there guys, welcome back to Attack on Final Fantasy, the Final Fantasy video series where I, Pete, try to complete every single Final Fantasy game using attack only. Today we are taking on Final Fantasy X. Now I've just finished releasing the podcast version of this. I've got all my boss videos in front of me, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be watching those back and just doing like a little commentary thing. I'm just trying a different style. It's not going to be any worse than my other YouTube videos, so don't worry, the quality isn't going to get better. Cool, let's crack into it. The rules are very simple. All I can do in battles is attack unless the game is telling me to do something otherwise. For example, in this game they like to put tutorials inside the battle system, so I can't not do the tutorials, so I've just got to do what the game wants me to do and then carry on attacking. Items are okay outside of battle, as is magic for healing and just general item usage. This isn't going to have any sort of story beats or anything, it's just going to be the bosses. So our first boss is against Sinspawn Amez. I'm forced to use an overdrive here as Auron to progress the story and the battle, but this fight is very easy. The only thing this boss does is cast Demi over and over, which can't actually kill your party, so you're completely safe to just attack away. Before the next boss fight, you get attacked by 3 Sahagin. This, you could technically die here if you're really bad at the game or you just defended the whole time, because they can hurt you. But I don't, I'm a professional, I know what I'm doing. And then when you whittle down 2 of the fish, the third fish gets eaten by this giant fish thing, which is the next boss. It is called Geo's Geno. Geo's Geno? Yep, maybe, who knows? Definitely somebody knows. Here, it does hit you, but all it does is half your health, so it just halves your health each time it hits. So again, I'm pretty sure it's impossible to lose, but don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. I've never lost to this thing, so I don't know. But eventually you will just swim into the nearby temple. Unfortunately, I've lost the footage for this next boss fight. I should have just recorded this as soon as I had the footage. But never mind, lessons learned. So this next fight is against a thing called Click. Riku bounces in about halfway through to rescue you. You've got to use a grenade, the game makes you use a grenade against it, and I'm not sure, but I think it teaches you how to steal as well, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So this thing, as you can probably imagine, it's a early boss, so it goes down fairly quickly because we've not been able to level up as of yet. Our next boss fight is against a octopus. It is called Tross. This teaches you about trigger commands, and you have to do things like pincer attacks and stuff to it to be able to defeat it. At some point it swims around the side of like the battle arena, I guess, and you can't reach it and it just doesn't move until you use this trigger command, so you have to use it to progress. But once again, it does go down very easily. So far everything is fine. I've got access to the sphere grid at this point, but I don't think I've put anything into it because I could grind the fish outside, but they drop like 1 AP if you get a batch of 3 of them or something ridiculous, so don't bother, I just go for this fight. Next up, it's Clueless versus Kimahri. Another easy fight, takes me about a minute 40 seconds, something like that, not hard at all. Then we have to grind in Besaid before the next fight, because the next fight is an actual boss, an actual like real boss, and the amount of times I've heard "Let Lulu handle that, yeah," is just, oh my god, that bloke, flans straight away. Like one of the first 10 enemies you fight is a flan, and just you're meant to hit it with Lulu's magic, and just Waka will not shut up about it. And now we've got the first real challenge. Like I said, I did have to grind in Besaid. It is against Sin's fin in the ocean. This thing can only be hit by Waka because it's too far away for anyone else. So everyone else has to attack the Sin scales, and then, yeah, Waka's just got to plummet this thing. What makes this worse though is that straight after this there's another boss fight. So if you win this and then fail the next boss fight, you have to do this boss fight again. And let me tell you, it's not fun. This whole boss fight took me 5 minutes, I think, just this little bit. horrible, horrible. Then you're plunged into the ocean for a fight against Sinspawn and Chulis. Bless you. So, I don't know how to pronounce that, man. So, this fight, like I say, comes straight after the last fight, and if Waka took any damage, it would carry over to this fight. Clueless gets revived by Waka at the start of this fight before the battle begins, so I didn't do any healing there. This thing has two main attacks. It has Drain Touch, which will obviously drain the HP of the party, and it also has an attack called Blender, which will just whip the party around and yeah, do loads of damage. It also is accompanied by these fish that will charge. You can defeat these. I don't think I bother, I can't remember, but I think I just focus my attack on the boss here. With 2000 HP though, it does eventually go down. I think I try this 4 times maybe before I actually get a good run on it. Our next boss fight is in Killica Woods, and it's against Lord Ochu. This thing took ages to go down. It took so many tries, but I really wanted to kill it because I deem it as a little boss fight. It's like a mini boss, and I quite enjoy the fight in a normal playthrough, but this wound me up. The poisoning proper did my head in. And I've got some bad news. Unfortunately, the next boss for Sinspawn is not here anymore. The footage has gone AWOL, a bit like Click's fight. I'm not sure what's happened here. I don't know if I just completely forgot in my excitement of defeating these things to save the footage on my PlayStation. But going forwards, I will try to be better, but I make no promises and tell no lies.
I'm sorry.
The next fight is in Luca against Obliterator. I was worried about this fight. I didn't think I'll be able to pass this point in the game because in the past I've just used that crane there, used thunder on it a couple of times, and that sorted it out. But we do pull through. I think it's because we're a little bit over leveled at the minute, so it goes okay in the end. Next we have the Chocobo Eater. Now this thing is a thing that eats chocobos. No, it's a boss fight. I didn't know that if you lost it'll be fine. I do lose this one and I fall off the cliff, but the party's fine. We just have to go the other way around the high road. I didn't know that. I've always killed it. Boast professional here, but I have. And yeah, someone has Dark Touch on their weapon as well. I think it's Waka. I think he's got Dark Touch on his Blitzball at the minute because he keeps getting blinded, so that's pretty cool. It doesn't help me though. Like I say, I do lose this one and we get tumbled off the cliff and we have to continue the journey on foot on the low road, not the high road.
Now I know I can count on you.
Sinspawn Gui. My days. The amount of grinding I had to do to be able to take this thing on. It's another 2-part boss fight. It's absolutely crazy. It's got these 2 armoured arms I guess, arms that cover it from frontal attack. It's got a head that will spew poison onto people unless it gets attacked. So I had to use a party of Waka to hit the head, Natus to get in there quickly and start attacking the fin arm things, and Kimahri as well to attack the arms because they are armoured and he needed to pierce in to be able to get through the armour. This, I can't even remember how many times I tried this. It was just, I've got PTSD just thinking about. No, I don't. That's such a pathetic thing to say. It was a tough fight, it really was, and it doesn't help it being a 2-parter because the few times I did get through to the next stage, oh boy, the next stage is something else. We have to fight it again. We have to fight again with a party of Yuna, who is not a hard hitter, Seymour, and Auron. Unfortunately, Yuna does get poisoned right at the start here, but Seymour can hit quite hard. I can't remember how this battle ends up. I know I defeat it, but I can't remember who gets kill and blow. I think it's Seymour, but it is touch and go because I can't hit that head. And it's not a fun fight. And as you can imagine, failing this over and over and having to go back and do that first fight again, complete and utter nightmare. But we do eventually get through. Yes, I have lost another boss video. I'm so sorry. I would say I'll do run again and get these videos, but I'm not going to because this took me nearly 60 hours to do, so I do not want to put that time into it again. I would rather do a magic only one, for example, or a summon only one. I'm looking forward to those two. Anyways, this boss fight was meant to be an underwater fight with Clueless and Waka attacking the Obliterator again, who's come to steal Riku. No, Yuna. Riku's the pilot of this, and we get Riku in our team after this fight. Our next boss is the Spherimorph in Macalania Woods. This thing is awful. I have to grind a lot to take this thing down. It's basically a big sphere of water. It doesn't like being attacked. When you do attack it, you don't do a lot of damage. And I think it's got 12,000 health, I think. So it's not got a bunch of health, but it's just getting those hits in before he kills you, much like everything else. But look at my HP. I should not have that HP at this stage of the game. I should be using magic and things to take this thing out. Ugh, it's crazy. The next boss fight is outside of Macalania Temple, where you get Shiva, and this is against the Crawler, which is an Albed contraption. This wasn't too bad. I can remember having to do this twice though. I think I messed up the next part after this, so I had to do it again. But all in all, it's an okay fight. It's fine for attack only. That thing in the top corner there that is like floating around, that nullifies all magic, but that's not a problem for us at the minute. On to the next fight in the temple, our first fight against Seymour. He has 2 guards with him, and they can use auto potion and they can protect Seymour from any incoming damage. This is a nightmare because the auto potion, they use high potions and they basically heal for 1,000 damage, so I've got to hit over 1,000 damage on each of these guards to ensure that I'm actually doing damage, if that makes any sense. Seymour himself, I think he's only got 6,000 HP, so it's not too bad once I do get these guards down. The tricky part though is the next fight. He brings out his mummy, Anima, and this thing will use Pain and Boost. Pain will damage the party for so much damage. Like a lot of damage. I can't remember exactly how much does she use it. I'm watching a video now, so let's see. Right, she's using Pain right now, and it is going to hit for any second now. Insta-death. That was just an insta-death against Auron. I can't remember who wins this fight, but it's got 18,000 HP. Oh, it doesn't alternate. Did I say it alternates? It doesn't alternate. It just casts Boost every now and then it will do Pain. Yeah, it's doing Pain again now. Man, this is like a live commentary. Aren't you guys lucky? Okay, so Pain, Waka's down. But I think Tidus gets the killing blow, yeah, and it's an overkill. Nice. Alright, cool. So yeah, that's how we defeated Anima, but not fun. I did have to go back out to the temple. Do you know I said that I had to fight that crawler thing like twice? That's because I had to go back out and grind up again. Then we just have to pummel a Seymour once more time, just for a little bit. But I'm not too worried here, he's a pussy. Next up we have the Wendigo boss fight. This thing has 18,000 health and it hits like a truck on steroids. It is not fun. It is not a great boss fight. It kills us so many times before this final push through attempt. We make it, we do it, we're in yellow health, but we're past it. Our next fight is with Evrae on the airship. We can use trigger commands to either get closer to the boss or further away. We don't have to do any of this because luckily we are in target of the boss, so we can reach it just fine with our weapons. Unfortunately though, Auron does get petrified in this fight, so he can't do much attacking at all. Waka gets poisoned, but luckily Clueless pulls through with an overkill attack. I couldn't believe he did that. It's absolutely crazy that this boss has always given me a bit of grief in the past, but we take it down quite simply. Like, it takes me a couple of tries because like I got unlucky with RNG and most of my guys got petrified before. I did this one run where it was Tidus got petrified and Evrae just attacked Tidus over and over and over until eventually he turned his sights on everyone else and killed us. But I thought that was going to be the one, but no, it's this one. This is the one, so that's cool. we've got to fight this thing again in Via Purifico in just a second. Next, we find ourselves in Via Purifico. We only have Yuna in our party to begin with before we find Kimahri and Auron down here. I'm very worried because Yuna can't hit very hard at all. She just clonks stuff with her rod. And the boss fight at the end of this is a fellow summoner who we have met along the way. Unfortunately, this is going to be a not attack only part of the game. It's basically I've got to summon. The game forces you to summon. So each round that I can, I summon Bahamut, and all I do after I do summon Bahamut is use Bahamut's attack move, so I don't use anything else. This is a 3-parter fight, and for the final part, my summoner friend, he summons Bahamut, so I cannot summon Bahamut. So instead I summon Shiva and luckily kill Bahamut before it gets its Mega Flare off. As I mentioned, we have to fight Evrae again, under the water this time with Clueless, Waka and Riku. But it's easy. It's easier than it was on the airship. It takes me one try and it goes so smoothly, I couldn't believe it. I'm just lucky that Waka's got that Dark Touch on his Blitzball. The next fight is against Seymour again. This fight is straight after pretty much the last fight. I can't remember if there's a save in between, but it's Seymour, but he's got this like worm thing that will cast Cura on him, which isn't pleasant, and he can throw up Protect, he can also petrify your party members and cast Flare. I get lucky here because he does keep casting Flare on Clueless for some bizarre reason. Clueless gets petrified and he just keeps chucking Flare at him. So just thank your lucky stars, Waka and Auron, that it went that way. Now the next boss fight is Defender X. This thing is a giant stone golem, and to beat it I have to get piercing on Waka's, Clueless's and Auron's weapons already have piercing, so that didn't matter to be able to beat it. I did try a couple of times without having to do this, but it just wasn't happening, so I caved in. I went and got the items needed. I think I had to go back to the monster arena to get the items. In the end though, we pull through and it's all fine and dandy. Man, this is going to be a long video. For some bizarre reason, I don't know what I was thinking, I went and fought Yojimbo. It went completely fine. I don't know why I bothered though, I'm not using summons. The next big fight, we're against some of Kimahri's clan. It's a solo fight for Kimahri, and I had to go off and do some grinding for this one because I hadn't really been using Kimahri too much and he was a little bit behind. I explain more in the podcast, but there is something I did because they can basically level up with Kimahri. So I was a bit worried about making Kimahri over leveled before this point, and then when I got to this point I couldn't beat these guys, so I had to go back and grind. But there's a certain way I did it. I forget how I did it now. It was something to do with not getting magic or something. Don't get the magic nodes, just get the strength nodes and the HP nodes, because although they sort of scale with you, they use more magic attacks. Anyway, we get there. At the top of the mountain, we fight Seymour Flux. I remember being so shocked that I could pull this off without having to retry. I did it in the first time. It is completely nuts, absolutely nuts. This thing in the past has always given me a headache, but this time I don't know why, it just, the game maybe was just like, yeah, alright mate, you've had enough, haven't you? Let's just take it easy on you this time. It's got 70,000 HP, but it was so simple. I couldn't believe it, I was shocked. And again, the very next boss, the Sanctuary Keeper, goes down like butter on toast. It was ridiculous. I was going to make your mum joke there, but I decided not to. Yeah, a couple of hits I think it's about 4 hits, and it goes, it's done. And now we're into the end game for the bosses. This boss is actually okay. It's called the Spectral Keeper. It's got 52,000 health. Our boys are hitting for, well, some of them are hitting 9999. So that's pretty good. Although in this fight, Waka and Auron do eventually kick the bucket, Clueless pulls through. He gets berserked right at the end, but luckily this is attack only, so that doesn't matter. I would have been cheesed off if I was doing magic only run and it did it, but no, it's fine. And also this thing takes pity on us, I think, because it does not lay those glyph mines anywhere near our characters whilst they're alive. It's beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. Next we're on to Yunalesca, which is a 3-tier boss fight, and honestly I was worried about this from stepping foot on Besaid Island. I was absolutely terrified. In the past she has kicked my ass so many times, and doing it attack only, I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it at all. She can cast zombie on the guys, well not a zombie, it's a thing called Hellbiter which does cast the effect zombie on the guys, and then she can cast regen, which then acts as a poison because you're zombie, so you're getting cured but you're actually getting damaged every round. Ugh, horrible. We do eventually pull through, but this did take me a fair few tries. So now we are on to Sin. The first things we do are take out the left and right fin, which is quite easy actually, nice and easy. And then we jump on Sin's back. We have to take on this boss, which is the same boss that is in Kilika. So that goes down quite easy. You guys didn't see that boss originally because I lost the footage for it, but it does, it's the exact same thing. It's got an armoured shell and it's got tentacles. And yeah, we do take it out quite easily. And then we're on to Sin's core, I think it's called. This thing does gather energy, and I was a bit worried because in between these battles there's no healing at all. You've just got to go bam 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 bam, and I was in yellow health and I thought if this thing does a attack for sort of 3000 damage, let's say, I'm toast. But luckily it does very little damage to the party at this stage. We are now face to face with Sin. He is out of range for the first part of his battle, and he's got an overdrive bar, which fills to about a quarter by the time we get in range. Sin will pull the airship towards him, so I don't have to do any trigger commands here, I just wait. Waka is the only one that can attack at a distance until we get close enough to Sin. That overdrive bar, if that fills up, we are toast. There's no turning back from that, boys. You are completely smeared against this top of this airship. Otherwise, this battle is a wanna. It's fine. We don't have to retry it or anything. Oron pulls through at the end there. Even if Waka and Clueless are petrified at the minute, he still nails away and manages to get us into Sin. Then we've got the final fight with Seymour. I completely forgot about this fight, and looking at those wheels, I know why. I've blocked this out of my memory because I didn't understand this fight as a kid, and I still do not now. I don't know what wheels are about. Luckily I'm just hitting him, so it's fine. He's only got 80,000 health and I do it on the first try. And now we are on to the final boss, what I deem as the final boss, because I feel it's the only boss that is very threatening in this last part of the game. We are up against Braska's Final Aeon or Ject, depending on what you want to call him. And I died a lot here. A lot. So much so, I had to go back out of Sin and get Clueless's ultimate weapon and come back to even stand a chance of beating him. Absolutely crazy. If you want to listen to my struggles through this, then go and listen to the podcast. I delve a little bit more into it over there. And then finally we've got Yevon. For this you have to summon your summons, then kill those summons to eventually get to Yevon, because he keeps possessing them, and then when you kill him he'll possess the next one, blah 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 blah. I have to do this in one go because I did not want to have to do Braska's Final Aeon again, so I have to do this, and I do so. It takes a little while to sort of remember how to do it because he does Demi, but he also does Demi on himself. But if you hit him, the Podogis will cure him. But we do get there eventually, and we beat Final Fantasy X attack only. My god, what a ride. What a ride. What a mental ride. Like, I would have loved to go back and record those couple of bosses that I missed, but honestly, the thought of going back through and grinding, I just couldn't. So I'm so sorry about that. I will, like I say, I will get footage done properly next time. But thank you for joining me. I'm sorry this was such a long one. I didn't expect it to be so long, but here we are. Half an hour nearly. Crikey. Yeah, if you could leave a like or a subscribe or a comment or all three, and tell somebody that likes Final Fantasy X, there's this bloke on YouTube that's just done it. Attack only. What an idiot. Okay, bye.